by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy with you for the next 3 hours on a Tuesday. Johnny Hill on the other side producing for us. And man, a busy day. Our last show here on Sports Time for the rest of the week, as tomorrow Ole Miss at Temple. That pregame will start at 2 o'clock, so that will knock us out Thursday, obviously being Thanksgiving. And then Friday, the first ever NFL Black Friday game, will also be in the afternoon, 1:30 pregame for that game on Friday. So another game knocking us out. So it's our last day on air, Brett, and a lot to get to. Obviously, we're going to start off talking about the big announcement earlier today that FedEx founder Fred Smith and FedEx are going to donate $50 million for the Memphis Stadium renovations project for the football stadium. But before we get into that, Brett, how are you doing this afternoon?
Brian, I'm doing very well. Hope you and Johnny are doing well. Hope everybody out there really getting ready to get settled in with a lot of family and a lot of friends and enjoying the rest of this week with so much from sports to do. Mm-hmm. We had a busy show. We had a blockbuster show planned.
Yeah, we did.
And then this news. Man. And I think people know me that I don't try to be hot takery or really reach for things, and I don't want to be overly dramatic.
Right.
But I think the news today, sports-wise, second biggest story in the history of Memphis. Grizzlies moving to Memphis the other.
I mean, it's up there. I mean, this is a monumental moment for the university and for the city because
blockbuster.
I mean, we know, especially these last couple months, kind of how back and forth it been between the city and the Grizzlies and the Tigers.
It's gotten ugly.
It's gotten really ugly, and for Fred Smith to be able to just come out and say, hey, I can make a lot of these arguments go away by this donation. It's unbelievable.
It really is. I'm almost speechless.
Yeah.
It's so kind, and we know what he's done and that great company's done. We know all the people right now within the sound of our voice. That's what they do for a living. They work at FedEx. They load those planes. They write up those orders. They do all the things that we can't imagine. I mean, just a day in the life of that company. Yeah. I can't imagine. Yeah. Just from starting at midnight to the next midnight of all the moving parts, and not just here, but truly worldwide. That idea he had 50 years ago to see it now. Then to all the people that. That's how they pay their mortgage. That's how they buy a car. That's how they go shopping. That's how they live their lives and go to school and exist. The multiplier effect of that is so enormous. And then what he's just done in sports, what he's just done for sports, for us here, for the brand of Memphis, the brand of our area. It's truly almost overwhelming, and we've had so many times that we've had issues, whether it was trying to get in the Big 12, and FedEx stepped up and going to be title and presenting sponsor of a potential Big 12 championship football game. That didn't happen, but they sure went down swinging, and they don't ever go down. It's just an operational pause for them. And then in other times of, people almost say, wish Fred Smith and FedEx would just write the check for this. Right. Well, they did.
Well, he just did.
They just wrote the check for it. And $50 million, I mean, just imagine that. And what he also did is this. We talked about it had gotten ugly. It is ugly. It is ugly around town with people and the Grizzlies. This stroke, this check cutting, this commitment, it saves the Grizzlies from a potential real PR nightmare.
Oh, yeah.
And with the appearance already there of them being hogs, of ours or nothing, of our way or no way, and we can't get to that. We can't lose the Grizzlies.
Right.
We can't. no matter. I know how much money Robert Parra has, and you talking about can't imagine if he put every ubiquity chip in the middle of the table,
really.
what it would be. I mean, it could buy the whole league. I mean, it's enormous. But we shouldn't have let it gotten to this fractious point,
right,
to this crucible, but it did.
Yeah. Well,
and then here comes Fred Smith to once again.
It's incredible.
To do it again for our and his family, because
absolutely,
there's some grandchild, great grandchild, somebody somewhere sometime can go. That's a little bit of my part.
It's supposed to be mine. Yes,
but he spent it on the beloved Memphis, University of Memphis, and the university to think outside the box and be smart about it. I think so much credit should go to Laird and to the new president and to people, to the mayor and to the council. I'm not wild about the language of the Grizzlies signing off,
right?
But okay. Yeah. I don't want to throw gas on the fire, but I don't want to absolve them either,
right.
Brian. I don't want to absolve them either, because I don't think it had to get to this. And they did look like stingy hogs.
Yes. No, you're absolutely right. And kind of going back to what you said to start off about Fred Smith is, you're right. Over these past 10 years, maybe, anything and everything that has gone wrong, or there's kind of hope of conference, a new conference, or new stadium, or new this, new that. It's always been, well, just have Fred Smith pay for it. Just go ask Fred Smith. Can he not give a donation or something like that? And it's always been the response. And so now to have this, this massive donation is unbelievable, and kind of, oh man, what's going to happen? Are they going to be able to get the stadium? It doesn't look like there's enough money to go around, and he steps up to the plate and gives this big donation.
Get it done.
It's unbelievable, and saying, yeah, y'all go get that stadium done that y'all have been wanting. And so I'll say this, Jason Munns, who really, I'm sure today, traveling and getting ready to go down to the Bahamas, this was big, and he has a story over on the Commercial Appeal about it that he released right when that news came out. He updated it a little bit later with quotes and a lot of stuff in there. It's a really good story, just kind of about all of this, what it means, and kind of some other things going into it. And so I would tell everybody to go read that story by Jason Munns in the Commercial Appeal, because it's a really good story, and it's really well done, and it kind of explains it all. And he even puts in here, in addition, a resolution was introduced Tuesday in City Council to allocate and appropriate $120 million in state funding for Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. So it really looks like, today, between that and this donation, it looks like a lot of positive things are going into the stadium renovation that we've been talking about for about a year now, a little over a year, and wondering if it will happen, when it will happen, how it will happen, and I think some really, really good signs.
It is, and on the reporting front, sure want to give credit to the Daily Memphian as well,
Absolutely.
Sam Hardman's good work, but everybody that contributed, and you're right, that is really good piece by Jason, he and his wife Erin, who's one of the editors at the Commercial Appeal, how hard they work to get us news. Yeah. Bryant, here's my wish now. Whenever whatever ribbon cutting opening day of the remodel stadium. So we know it won't be opening day 24.
No.
Probably won't even be 25.
I'd be surprised.
So signed, sealed, set. This is opening day. Let's call it opening day 26.
Okay.
Please, just look half as good as those artist renderings look.
Back to the renderings, Brett. You knew the rendering talk was going to come back up today.
And my favorite are all the people that are like walking around in the renderings.
Oh, yeah.
Like, who are they?
Yes, the little people. Because you can't have a rendering of a stadium that's empty and nobody's around there. It's got to be filled to the max and people walking around outside. Yeah, absolutely. It's great.
Please just come off as good as that looks. And, this is one more special day. Again, all right, I know on the field of play we might have things, but the announcement of the Grizzlies moving Memphis, the pursuit team, we did it. It's done. They're on their way straight from Vancouver. This is right there with it. This is really big. And Brian, I don't want to be too over the top, but I know college sports is really changing.
Sure.
I'm not going to see all this, but you and Johnny will see every breadth and depth and step of this. One of these days, you're going to have, with the newfangled how college football especially is going to be drawn up, you're going to have an owner of a school.
Yeah.
This very well could be the first step of the University of Memphis football team presented and owned and operated by the Smith family.
It really could be.
Wouldn't that be a great move for Arthur someday to run that?
I think it would be.
I hope NFL keeps rolling along great for him. But it's going to happen. Now, it's not going to happen next year. I don't think it'll happen even in the 2020s.
Mm-hmm.
But by 2040, 2050, college football is going to look so different as it looks, different from 20 years ago and 40 years ago and 60 years ago. And somebody out there, there's going to be a lot of somebodies. They're going to be wholly owned and operated by people that think they can make money off of it.
Yeah. No, you're
right. And they will be able to.
Yeah, I think you're right. And you're right. This might be the start of that, and I don't think that would necessarily be a bad thing if it was the Smith family kind of running the University of Memphis. But
you know who had dreams of this? I got to give him credit. And they said he was close to changing the uniform scheme to match FedEx colors.
Okay.
John Calipari in 2002, 2003
wow.
was willing to do it.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Well, I've seen on Twitter today a lot of people are making they're taking the Tigers logo and having a FedEx box in the paws and saying this should be the new logo of the University of Memphis, and it's just huge. Everyone's excited about it, and
it's great,
and it's unbelievable.
It really is. It was just heaven sent, FedEx sent, on time delivery, and Brian, when we talk about the multiplier effect, what FedEx does just for our community, never mind around the country and all the other places where FedEx has such big positions. Imagine just this in Memphis, and I don't know where it is. I don't know what bank it is. I don't. But just imagine the bank that just has the payroll account.
Good Lord.
Just the payroll account.
I can't even imagine.
And the number of people that keeps employed and the multiplier effect, it is an extraordinary story.
Yes.
I think it's the best business story.
Oh, yeah.
In my life.
Absolutely.
When Walmart would be up there big and some others, but right here to have them and to have what they did and never forget that other big sports story, FedEx was primary to getting the Grizzlies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, you take you say top two sports stories and both tie in right with
They're
FedEx.
right there. They did them
incredible.
both.
Yeah, it's incredible.
In effect, they made both deals happen. And the PGA Tour, not just the Memphis PGA Tour stop, the tour. From town to town, from Phoenix to Miami to Hartford to all the tour stops. It would not exist without FedEx.
Mm-hmm. No, you're absolutely right. And so this is just another step FedEx has taken and the Smith family has taken, and it's incredible.
Extraordinary.
I just pulled up the renderings to take another look at them, and you're right. These renderings are beautiful, and
just be half. If you can
just be half.
Just come off half as radiant and effervescent as that. That just looks. It almost looks so futuristic, perfect that the Jetsons might live at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium press box.
Isn't that every renderings? Every rendering
kind of is.
It looks like it just came out of 2150.
I'm just playing for half. I just want it to be half that good.
Yeah. No, it's exciting. It's certainly an exciting day, and I'm sure we'll talk a lot more about it. But let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. And I'm sure our first guest that we'll talk to at 3:30 will talk a lot about this with Dave Woloshin, the voice of the Tigers. Obviously, A big day for what he does, calling all of the Tiger football games and basketball games. So a lot to talk to with Dave. We'll talk about this. We'll talk about the Tigers football final regular season game on Friday. We'll also talk about the battle for Atlantis that kicks off tomorrow. Tigers versus Michigan tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock. 4:45, we're going to make our Battle for Atlantis bracket picks. We're going to go through and make our picks for this tournament that the Tigers are a part of starting tomorrow. A really loaded field, a really good tournament that will kick off tomorrow. So we'll do our picks at the end of this hour. 4 o'clock, a rarity on a Tuesday. Bruce Marshall, who we usually talk to on Friday, since, like I said at the beginning of the show, this is our final show of the week. Bruce is going to join us from Vegas Insider, CBS Sports, and BAMSports.net. We'll get a bunch of picks from Bruce to get you through the rest of the week and into the weekend. 4:30, we'll talk to Brent Beard from First Coast News in Jacksonville, covering college football. He usually joins us at 4. Nice enough today to join us at 4:30. A lot to get to with Brent at 4:30 with college football rivalry week, the last regular season week of the season. So a lot to get to at 4:30. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Bo Marchant will join us to talk the NFL. 5:30, we'll get to our First National Bank and Trust Friday football forecast on a Tuesday, as we got to make our picks for this weekend since we're out the rest of the weekend at 5:45. We'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Taco Bell Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure studios where family and fun come together. The Overstock Sale. Family Leisure needs your help to clear out their overstock inventory. Select patio sets up to 50% off. Play gyms under $2,000. Extended sale pricing on all in-stock hot tubs and swim spas. Family Leisure has their winter pool closing items now up to 30% off. They've also got pool tables and game room items up to $700 off those in-stock items. They've also got you covered on saunas, massage chairs, arcades, and theater seating, all with free delivery. Special financing is still available, but this is only at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
He is Brian, I am Brett, and Johnny Hill is our producer. We're Sports Time. We're with you until 6 o'clock, and you can join us at 901-360-8255. We'd love to have your reaction to this really happy day. Yeah. This is one more great day for sure. This hour of our show brought to you every day by our title sponsor. That's Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Happy Thanksgiving from everyone at Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in town. You can call them at 901-334-9673. Great offers on all the 23 models that remain. The 24s have taken over. Let's start calling it Happy 24. They're here, and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
We're ready to start playing. That is what Penny Hardaway said today in his first press conference for the Battle for Atlantis. We're ready to start playing. They're ready for what this week holds, and it could hold a lot of games against top-rated opponents, talked-about opponents, storied programs. You start off with Michigan, who had a bad loss a couple weeks ago against Long Beach State, I guess last week I should say, but they're coming in. I'm sure they're wanting to bounce back from that loss. Long Beach State only beat Iona by 3 points earlier this morning. So this is not a great Long Beach State team. That could be a good win for the Tigers that next day. You're hoping, fingers crossed, you get Arkansas, who's coming off a bad loss last Friday night, and then the opportunity to play a team like North Carolina or a team like Villanova, a team like Texas Tech. I mean, the opportunity this week is really through the roof for the Tigers. I think they're ready for this challenge. I think getting that early season test on the road, I don't care really what people say about Missouri right now, as lost to Jackson State, had to come back, I think, a 34-9 run against Minnesota to win that game. It was still a sold-out environment on the road, a rough atmosphere to go into, and they were able to win that game. They were up for that test, and now the next test comes. Battle for Atlantis. How will they respond? We'll see tomorrow afternoon against Michigan, but I feel good about what the Tigers can do this week.
I feel great about it. And think, if they get to the finals, That means through a past national champion Michigan, presumably, well, either way, Stanford or Arkansas through a past national champion. And then if it's North Carolina in the finals, we know we know their spot in college basketball history. My top story, all the what ifs, all the we should be ranked, all the faux we're being dissed, all the bluster, heck, all the smoke can be settled by the Tigers by winning it all in the Bahamas. This is how you do it, by doing it, not by talking, but by winning. And it can be done. 3-0 in Atlantis can be done. And if you're 3-0, a trophy will come back to Memphis, and the ranking next Monday afternoon will take care of itself, and it will and all the publicity will suddenly appear.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day is this matchup tomorrow night, Grizzlies and Rockets. To say I'm excited is an understatement. The first game for the Grizzlies against former guard Dillon Brooks. And what will we see from Dillon Brooks? We've seen the antics when his first game against the Lakers, he's out there during a timeout staring down LeBron James. They're face to face with each other, just staring at each other before anybody else even breaks the huddle with their coaches. We saw it against the Clippers where the team's kind of getting amped up before the game, right before the national anthem, and he's standing on his spot for the national anthem line, just staring down the Clippers on the other side. Well, we see that tomorrow against the Grizzlies. Will he kind of have this same reaction to his former teammates, his buddies on the Grizzlies? Brett, you made a good point yesterday when we were talking to DeMichael about he can be friends with all of these people. He can, after the game or Thursday night or something, hey guys, stick around in Houston, let's go out and get dinner, or let's go get dinner tonight if you are down here. But in between those lines, when that ball goes in the air, he does not care. And it's one thing I do love about Dillon Brooks.
I do too.
He's going to bring that energy every single night. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. This Houston team is better than a lot of people expected them to be this far into the season. A lot of that has to do with what Dillon Brooks has brought to that team. And so it's going to be a fun game, but let's see if the Grizzlies can get another road victory.
I want to be really careful when I say this because, look, during the whole national anthem dust up a few years ago, here's my policy. When the anthem is being played and the colors are being presented, I'm going to stand.
Yes.
During the anthem, I'm going to put my hand over my heart.
Absolutely.
If you don't want to, that's your business. Sure. The U.S. Supreme Court has said you can act any way you want over the anthem. They've said you can burn a flag. I categorically disagree with you, but it is well within your right. In Memphis, people would always comment to me about Dillon Brooks at the end of the anthem, almost before it's really was completed. He was taking off his warm-ups and heading to the bench area a little soon. First of all, remember this. Remember this. He's Canadian.
He is Canadian. That's a very good point.
If he didn't want to, now I think out of respect for the Canadian anthem and for the U.S. anthem, everybody should be respectful on both sides. I would be. You should be. He doesn't have to be if he doesn't want to. So if he wants to stare you down during the national anthem, don't anybody say he's disrespecting the anthem.
But you're going to get that, Brett. You're going to get that tomorrow. If he's staring down guys, if he's chirping a little bit, it's going to be like, oh, Dillon Brooks, he's disrespecting his former team. We gave him an opportunity, and now he's disrespecting us.
Yeah, I think that's remember, he left the line early every time in Memphis because he's Canadian. He may not care about our anthem. Yeah. He's got that right. I disagree with him because I care about his, but he's got that right. My not top story: anyone with a college football coach of the year vote nationally, and it's not for David Braun at Northwestern, then you failed, and you failed miserably. He's the opposite of Coach Prime. He look at all the things he had to do when he got handed that disaster at Northwestern. And he's already won 6, got a chance to win a 7th Saturday against Illinois. All the waste of time on Dion and his team is 4-7 and lost by 42 last week. It should have been spent on this great job done by David Braun, who doesn't have a zany nickname.
Yeah. You're right about that. No nickname for him. That'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to our first break of the day. When we come back, we'll talk Tigers with the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin. He's next on Sports Time.
Be sure to follow us